This is the Standard 5 mentor review.
Okay, for Standard 5, for project-based learning, I gave you proficient because I felt like we laid the groundwork for the project and the paper and stuff you're going to be doing. You said at the top with the justice and whatnot. So I know we didn't do it specifically in the lesson. They did a mini project, but I feel like it set the precedence for what's going to happen, and so therefore I feel like you still got proficient in that. Because it's project-based, they're going to have to take those concepts of justice and punishment and stuff and do things with it more in the unit. So you have a plan for that. Application to real-world problems, I think I put proficient as well because that's something they deal with, well, I guess not, I hope not, in their actual personal lives, but it's something that's applicable to them and they can relate to. For the use of digital tool for learning, again, I gave you proficient because they were able to use the Padlet and download the articles and discuss them and whatnot. I was trying to think of a way that you could get outstanding on that because you did use technology and you utilized it well, would maybe go above and beyond and having them create a mini Prezi or something, because I know they had to do the presentation with the pros and cons.
Gotcha.
Maybe interacting with that, just a little more, but
making their presentation, not just them standing up and talking about it, but
that would have taken longer though, so I know why, because of time constraints, it was kind of hard.
They're my only hour class.
For literacy across the curriculum, I gave you outstanding because this is English class, and so they were having to write and use literacy. So I think this is maybe more for, and you had activities and whatnot. They had to write and they had to get the pro cons. They had different strategies in there.
Right.
And I feel like that's really easy to put into English. So I feel like if you got insufficient, that would have been good because we've been teaching math instead. For interdisciplinary themes, I did put proficient on that because we talked about things that could be integrated into social studies and civics and, global things. It was World War connections there with justice and capital punishment and different things like that. Overall, I really liked your lesson because I feel like the kids were engaged. It was something they're really interested in. And that's why I'm really excited about this unit and the short story. Short story is really fun anyway, and I think the kids are really going to enjoy it.
I think they're going to be mad about it.
They are, because it just ends, but you don't know what happens. But I think that's going to have some really good discussions with the kids because they're so, with the gifted class and the 9th grade course, they're very talkative and they're very opinionated. And so that also gets into what I was going to suggest is you started doing. You had Gerald out, the bird. I have a pet fake bird. That she's going to pass around. If you were holding Gerald, then you could talk. But being consistent with that, because I noticed, I understand that that's just the way they are, and it's really hard to regulate that sometimes.
And I wanted them to be able to talk to each other, and when I had Gerald out, I was like, oh, wait, hold on.
But I would suggest, just because it can get, especially with two of the students, they can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yes.
And so I would suggest actually putting, because I know you mentioned for the honesty talk and different things like that, because we're doing that later on. But you suggested the rubric for discussion rubric or something like that. Actually, implementing, I know it's kind of different, but implementing that, maybe putting that on the board or something, and saying, when you want to talk, you have to hit maybe these 3 points. If you don't have these 2 points, you can't respond. If you have talked during somebody else's response, you have to wait your turn to respond.
And those would be part of the Socratic seminars.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're going to be doing that later on anyway.
So we'll practice with it.
Yes.
Okay,
and so
good.
having that on there would be really good because those kids they're very energetic and they love talking. And when they talk, it's usually about the subject anyway, so it's great. But having them interact respectfully is kind of difficult for a couple of them because they want their opinion known and they think the other person's, oh, you're wrong, so I'm always right.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought it was well. Good. So.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.